Well, hello. I am trying out something new today. I am currently videotaping this instead of with my laptop computer. I'm videotaping it with my Canon 5D Mark II, which I'm pointing at right now. It is tethered to my laptop. I think in the future I may not tether it, but I thought this time I'd tether it and then I can make sure I know what I'm doing with focus and so on. I shot this video once. Audio was great. I was happy with everything except me. I was a blur. I see how easy it is to become a blur with this camera. It's not like when I'm shooting with my laptop. So I'm here looking at the computer. Now I'm looking at you, but I can't see if I'm looking at you. I want to stare over here. Ooh, awkward. All right, so enough on that. Instead of doing a pen review today, I thought it'd be kind of fun to try something different. So I wrote myself an outline. Now, why am I telling you this? Because the outline actually pertains to what I want to talk about. I have been reviewing fountain pens. Here's one I haven't reviewed, a nice Lamy Safari Coral Edition that I bought sometime in the spring. And I wrote my outline with that. But the point is, one of the big things I do with my fountain pens is I write novels. Now, I started writing novels back when I was a little kid and didn't like how the cartoon The Ghosts of Scooby-Doo turned out. Because I actually liked a couple of the ghosts, and I thought, oh, it's too bad Scooby-Doo won there. So I thought, well, what if I write my own ending? And from there it developed, imitated Doctor Who, imitated Star Trek, and so on. And now I'm to the point I'm writing my own stuff. In fact, in my basement, I have 9. See, I'm looking at my computer screen, make sure I get the fingers right. I have 9 failed novels. They're awful. I mean, seriously, they're just really, really horrible. And right now I'm working on the 3rd draft of number 10. Now, what's different about number 10? Well, let's start with 3rd draft. I have never gotten that far. I'll tell you how I used to write. I'd come up with a clever idea. Science teacher has a former student return. Turns out the former student is a really bad dude. Well, I got to thinking, this time, instead of just starting to write, why don't I stop and plan? And wow, tell you what a difference it made. So I want to give you now, I'm not a published writer, but I want to give you some idea for those of you who are amateurs like me, where I'm at. And I'm open to feedback, I'm open to ideas, and I just want to give credit where credit is due. Weiland, Larry Brooks. None of this that I'm about to say is original. Your English teacher, if your English teacher was interested in writing and not writing theory. So first, come up with an idea. Now, it doesn't matter what the idea is. A kitten that solves crime, a ghost dog, a spaceship breaking yard, anything. Life in a small town. Then brainstorm about it. And not just brainstorm, but write those ideas down. Fill notebooks. Anything comes to your head, even as silly as it seems, write it down. Because out of that, then you start to separate the wheat from the chaff. And you think to yourself, okay, now I have a basic concept. What is your basic idea behind the story? And then from there, you can develop more of a premise, more specific, not just life in a spaceship breaking yard, but gang warfare within spaceship breaking yards, or alien spaceship is broken in a spaceship breaking yard. Something specific and compelling that will make people say, yeah, I want to read that. Something you can put in a nice little blurb. And I'm kind of dancing around my actual premise because I don't want anybody to take it. But anyway, the more specific, the better. What makes it a unique, compelling story? Now, there's universals. Your romance novels are all boy meets girl, they fight, they fall in love, they break apart, and then they're back together, and they all live happily ever after. But there are gazillions of stories written on that basic idea. And the premise is what makes each one of them compelling. I don't write romance. My hero's girlfriend is going to end up nailed to the wall of the building where she works. No kidding. So, yeah, I'm no romance writer. But then after you get that, brainstorm some more. Now it's time to research. Look into things like if you're going to write about spaceship breaking yards, look into spaceship breaking yards. If you're going to write about life in a small town, look into what small towns are like. If you have a specific small town in mind, look into it, research it. Write down ideas for plot points, write down ideas for characters and settings and things you want to play with. Write all of this down. And again, the research. Even if it's somewhere real. I will set this in Dickinson, North Dakota. So I don't know what happened there. Apparently, everything froze up on the computer. This is all new to me. So anywho, I was right in the process of saying the research. Even if it is totally contemporary, totally familiar, research it. Get to know the setting you're writing about. I have a science fiction universe, so I had to be much more creative, write a history. I always like to feel in a book that I'm reading a small piece of something that's much larger. Get my hands inside the screen. Oh, wow, this is so hard. I'll never make a career out of video. But anyway, but then it is time to start writing. Do we pull out the notebook, start scribbling with our fountain pen? No. Wait a minute. Think. And here's what I did. I outlined. Now there's what they call pantsing. That's where you just write what comes off the top of your head. I told you I've got 9 failed novels where that didn't work. Then there is what they call outlining, where people are very rigid. Now, do you notice me rambling, getting off the subject? Yeah, that's me. Now, I am really bad at that if I don't come in with a plan. So I have an outline here. Now, does this look like, well, let's get this in focus here. Does this look like anything your English teacher taught you? No. No Roman numerals, no capital letters and lowercase letters, none of that junk. Forget it. Your English teacher is wrong. That's useless for a novel, unless it works for you. What I suggest, find something that works for you. But what you want to do is have an idea what's going to happen with the story. This does not suck any creativity out of it. It just neatly categorizes your creativity. You're brainstorming, it's all over. Then you refine it. And now you're outlining. You're creating a plot, being creative, being spontaneous, but you're writing it down without investing all that time writing down the entire book. Because then you can look at your plot and say, oh, that doesn't work, that works, oh, we need more of that, less of this, take it out. Now here's how I outlined. When I wrote this novel, Larry Brooks, K.M. Weiland again, where I got this idea from, I wrote down my main plot points. There's 3 of them. They take place each about a quarter the way through the book. About 25% of the book in, you've spent your time, hook your reader, of course, but then 25% in, after we've gotten to know the characters and the setting, we've had some foreshadowing enough to say, oh, something is actually going to happen here. We're not just going to follow Ian around. Then we have something that commits our hero or heroine to action. They are irrevocably committed to their course. Lord of the Rings, Frodo decides to take up the ring and become the ring bearer. There you go. Now committed. Now, that's what happens next is they kind of bumble around, things happen to them, they're just sort of lost. That's a big part of Lord of the Rings. Again, in fact, most of the book, The Fellowship of the Ring, are things happening to Frodo. Now, next, about halfway through the book, 50%. Remember I said 25, 25, 25, 25. What we're going to do now is the hero starts to act. Frodo decides to go off on his own to destroy the ring. Now, they're going to act, but they're going to spend the next quarter of the book failing miserably. Think about how depressing it is for Frodo for quite a while before he starts to really take charge. We're failing even though we're acting. Because your hero needs to overcome hardship. In fact, somewhere towards the end of this, there's what they call a pinch point, where the hero is thinking to himself, golly, is this all worth it? Or should I just give up? I think I want to give up. They're dark, dark place. And then they come out of it. And then we get to 75% of the book. The last quarter of the book, what happens at the 75% mark is where the hero finally gets those last tools he needs to act and succeed. Now notice I didn't say win. If you like to write downers, or you like to write depressing stuff, you like to kill off your hero, go for it. This doesn't preclude that. But what this does do is give you a nice classic story structure, because now the hero takes charge and accomplishes what he set out to accomplish, or he dies. You know, I like dark, but I don't like depressing. So my hero wins. It costs him a lot to win, but he wins. But the beauty of this process, and I think I need to do some more videos about it to draw it out and really develop it. The beauty of it is we compartmentalize our creativity. Brainstorming, go nuts. Everything is on the table. It can explore our world, design our world. Both sets of brainstorming. Coming up with a premise and a concept narrows your focus down, helps you brainstorm now more on topic, directs you. Creating this outline starts to say, okay, these are the story things that I need. And you might say, oh yeah, gee willikers, I better research some more about shipbreaking. And then these plot points and creating the outline around them is you creating the story. And then you write, Ian meets Hella. Okay, Ian meets Hella can turn into this. I'm creative at every step of the process. But instead of trying to do everything at once, I can focus on characters, I can focus on plot, I can focus on setting, I can focus on writing, but I don't have to keep all of it straight up here all at the same time. So I hope this was useful. My first couple of drafts were written with a fountain pen. Then I'm kind of to the point where I need to start typing. I'd rather write with fountain pen, but it's time to type. But what a difference it makes to outline. And it didn't take any creativity away. I've created a stronger story. It just compartmentalized the creativity. So hopefully this was useful. I'd like to develop it some more. That's supper getting ready, if you can hear that. I'm also curious how this videotaping with this camera works out for you. So I would be really curious about comments about the quality of this video and the audio. It's a different kind of microphone. It's not the built-in one, but we'll see. And I have shot this video twice. Who knows, we'll do a third time. And I've really got to break the habit of looking at my computer screen. But it sure did help knowing that I got the thing in focus. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.